Welcome back to a special holiday edition of At This Hour. Well, the push for a presidential election recount in 3 states is coming down to the wire. In less than 24 hours, the Green Party's former presidential nominee Jill Stein raised nearly $3 million to cover recount filing fees in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Activist scientists alerted Hillary Clinton's campaign to the possibility of hacks in key counties in those states. President-elect Donald Trump won Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Michigan is still too close to call. So let's talk all of this over with Jill Stein, former Green Party presidential nominee. Dr. Stein, thank you very much for spending part of your Thanksgiving morning with us. We do appreciate it. I want to start with the why. Why do you feel the need to challenge this?
Well, let me put it this way. Why would anyone not want to count the votes and to be sure that they are counted accurately? What we know is that there were lots of hacks taking place around this election, hacks into voter databases, into party databases, into individual email accounts. And what we also know, unfortunately, is that the equipment that we use, much of it is not just open to hacks. It basically invites hacks and malfeasance, tampering, human error, etc. Some of the voting machines in use in Wisconsin, for example, have actually been prohibited in the state of California because they've basically been proven to be wide open to tampering. So what we're saying is, not that, hacking or fraud has necessarily taken place. I don't think we have evidence of that. But I think it's only natural and it's good for Americans to be reassured that our votes are counted, especially after such a divisive and bitter election where 80% of Americans, according to a New York Times poll, basically said they were disgusted with this election. They didn't like the candidates that we were limited to. They were screaming for open debates and other choices. It was a very bitter election where so many people were voting against their worst fear rather than for the candidate that they wanted. I think this is a very positive step, and the fact that it has basically funded itself overnight reflects the incredible hunger out there among the American people to actually start doing something positive and to start creating an election system that we can believe in.
And this is something that several Hillary Clinton supporters would like to be done. Are you doing this to help Hillary Clinton at all, possibly?
I think it was pretty clear during the campaign, because I was asked this question all the time, that I do not favor one candidate over another. To my mind, there are problems with our system that have basically produced 2 candidates that were the most distrusted and disliked in our history. But what I think all Americans can agree on, and what I consider worthy of working for right now, is creating a voting system that we can trust. And there are glaring red flags right now about this voting system, especially the fact that we're being hacked all over the place and that it's proven that these machines are eminently friendly to hack. So we need to start fixing this voting system. So
that's not exactly accurate that all these voting systems are so vulnerable to hacks. I mean, they're not connected to the internet. It would be extremely difficult for anyone to alter the outcome of the election, given the fact that each state has its own systems, and scientists have no evidence at all that there was any tampering or hacks, because there was a lot of reporting done leading up to Election Day. Is this worth your time, you think, all this money? I mean, when there's no evidence and given how difficult it would be to hack into these systems?
We should not have a voting system in which we have to prove that there's been fraud or tampering in order to have confidence. In my mind, the American people are begging for a system that we can believe in. There is widespread cynicism and disgust with our basic institutions, from the Supreme Court to the presidency to the press, you name it. We are off the charts right now in lack of trust for our basic institutions. And for us to be able to trust our votes and know that our votes count and that they're accurate is just a basic principle of democracy. What we do know is that these machines have been proven in the laboratory of computer scientists and the scientists who look at election security. What we know is that many of these machines are wide open and vulnerable. So many of them get programmed with similar information cards. And yes, they may not be on the internet, but they get programmed with basic cards that could be tampered with at the county level. So this is why I think it's really important to count the votes.
I'm just curious, if Hillary Clinton had won the election, would you still be doing this? Would you still be pursuing this recount?
What I was asked, throughout the election was if there are concerns about the voting systems and the integrity of the vote, will you challenge? And my answer to that has always been yes. The Green Party has stepped up to the plate before. In 2004, we challenged the vote in Ohio, where there was really rather staggering evidence of vote tampering. And in fact, some of the election officials who oversaw that actually wound up serving time in jail for that very fact. So we have not shied away from, I think, what the American people are clamoring for. We did not have to work to raise that money. We basically let it be known. We put out a press release. We put up a website. And that money is raising itself because the American people really want to take a step forward. They want to do something positive. We want an election system that we can believe in.
Very quickly, the filing deadline is tomorrow for Wisconsin. Are you going to be filing?
Absolutely, we are, and now we clearly have the funds to do that.
All right,
and by the way, we still have 2 more states to raise funds for.
That's
so
right.
if people are interested, it's Jill2016.com/recount, and your contributions go directly into ensuring that we can trust our votes.
Okay, Jill Stein, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yes, good Thanksgiving.
You too.